So here we are, guys. The day is Friday, 10th of May, and we are finally en route to pick up the new project car. It's been three months since we won it at an auction, and I can't wait to show you guys what we've got prepared for you. I hope that you enjoy it. We're gonna be filming the whole journey of restoring it, preparing it, and maybe modifying it. Although I was very excited at this moment, I have to admit that some of the scariest moments I have is when the forklift driver picks up the car and I just sit there and pray that none of the underbody of the car gets damaged. Honestly, at this point the car seemed so dead that it wouldn't even budge a single light on the dashboard. The parking brake is an electric one and it was on. The tires were flat, the steering wheel was locked. Essentially, the perfect scenario for a smooth unloading. We decided to help ourselves a little by putting this wheel tray under the rear wheel to disconnect at least one of the wheels from the ground. Of course, lucky for us, we only had one. Just stopping at the petrol station to put some air in the tires because all of the 4 tires are inflated, actually deflated. All the 4 tires are deflated, so taking off the car from the truck it will be quite challenging, so we're just going to ease this process as much as possible. Basically we have an issue, the first issue of the day. The tires don't have any of the little springs that keep the air inside, so apparently, these are called valve cores, and we stopped at the first tire repair shop to get a set so we can inflate the tires again. We finally arrived at our garage and the challenge was just about to begin. I had my old car in the garage, so I was rushing to take it out as the recovery truck was already reversing. At the site where we picked up the car, I tried to open the bonnet, but it seemed to be stuck due to the crash. The plan was to put a pair of racks between the bonnet and the fenders, so if the hinges were bent, we wouldn't damage the A-pillars or the fenders. Once we had the bonnet open, which by the way turned out to be much easier than expected, the next step was to get my old car as close as possible and use jump leads to see if the Mercedes will start. The car eventually started after a few attempts, so we were able to reverse it back from the platform. Of course, I was the one to bring out the jack, pop the car and take off the tray that we had put earlier. As we had a long weekend ahead, we parked the car in the garage and we headed home. So good morning guys from day 2. I am currently heading to the garage, but before I do, I need to stop and do a quick job on my car. So I need to take my headlight off and send it for restoration because I have a dimmed daytime running light, and because of that I need to take it off and send it. I started by removing all of the screws I could see, and although the headlight seemed completely loose, there was something that was holding it in place and it didn't let me get it off the car. After I spent some considerable time trying to work out what it was, I finally found one additional bolt which was very well hidden in the fender. So the bolt goes through the flange of the front fender, into the flange of the bumper, into a plastic bracket which basically holds the headlight. So if you ever have to do this on an Audi A3, bear this in mind. So without further ado, let's get to the garage.
Yeah.
So here it is, guys, 2021 GLC43. Are going to do a full check on the front end just to see what's been damaged and what not. Then we're gonna move to the interior, and then we're gonna have a look at any other remaining damage. So here we are, blown off steering wheel airbag. Too bad for Mercedes is that you have to perforate the leather in order to basically disassemble the airbag. That's one side done, and then on the other side is the same here. So unfortunately you have to leave a hole in the steering wheel. So maybe, I don't know, maybe this is done in order to know if this has ever been crushed before. So if you have the two holes on the side of your steering wheel, then you can be sure that this car has been crushed, or at least the airbag has been changed. So there we go, one airbag is out. After we've removed the main bit, we just have to unclip the clip here, and then that's it. Okay, the next job is taking the knee airbag out. So I think we should be able to unscrew 2 or 3 screws, and then it should pop off, but let's see. Sometimes what you have to do is you have to dive into the car, okay, in order to see, because actually it's very difficult. So after we've taken the trim out, we have another set of 4 screws. Once you've taken the airbag out, the easiest thing is you put a flat screwdriver inside and you push this little tab out. Okay. So what you do, you literally just take the tab out and then you wiggle it until it's out, and there you go. The next job we're gonna tackle is the front end. We will remove the front bumper first, and then we're gonna take the headlight out, and then we're gonna start taking all the carrier brackets here and everything apart. The front bumper is held on 2 M6 bolts, which is equivalent to 10mm socket. So you need an extension. You don't have to take the wheel arch liners, you can just bend it slightly and you can access the 2 bolts. We're removing the trim clips, basically this little thing. We have, I think, 3 on each side, and then we'll be able to take off the bumper, hopefully. Second headlight is out, and now we've got to remove all the radiator pack and assess the damage underneath, all of the plastic bits here and on this side as well. We were originally thinking that the cross member is damaged, but actually it's not, which is very good. So we're gonna change the upper part of the bracket, and we're gonna see if this is actually one piece or a couple of pieces bolted together. So let's start taking all of these little bolts one by one, and we'll see where this will go. Apparently the upper slam panel assembly consists of 3 aluminium sections. The main section in the middle holds the bonnet latches by 3 screws on each side. Now, taking the latches itself is a little bit of a tricky situation. The bonnet release cables have to pass through an opening in the radiator support brackets. Although in our case these brackets were broken into pieces, initially it seemed like the latches could not pass through these openings, but if you look closely you will see that one of them, the left one, can be disassembled, and once you've done that you will gain access to detach them completely. The final thing for today will be the bonnet. As you can see here we have a tear out, so we're gonna try to see if we can somehow save it. I doubt, but because it's aluminium, but we'll give it a go because everything else seems to be fine on the bonnet. Usually these aluminium bonnets are very difficult to work on, and especially when you have a tear out in the area where you have a few layers of aluminium stacked together, so a few panels underneath, or reinforced areas as they call them. Usually how this could have been repaired is by cutting out the damaged areas and welding another piece on top of it, but because this is a reinforced area with a couple of layers and panel bond in between the layers of aluminium, so welding in this area is not possible because of the panel bond, and repairing this bonnet would not be possible, so unfortunately we had to order a brand new one. Okay guys, that's it for today. We have taken almost the entire front end out. We are left with only the radiator, which, as I explained earlier, we'll take out once we remove all of the aircon fluids, because we don't have a machine for that. So the only thing left to do now is get in the rear seat and take both of the seat belts out and the airbags. And this is what we're going to be doing in the next video, so stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe. Of course we have to change, always the case.